I think Puan Sri has been taking a wonderful supplements which is very good for her heart. Okay, your heart also need regeneration to a certain extent. And the heart start to age at 40. And by the age of 70, your heart is only the age of half a function of a 30-year-old. So to climb Mount Kinabalu or any sportsman to have stamina, you must have the stamina and the endurance. So it comes from the heart, it comes from the lungs. You must have good lungs. But your lungs start to age at 22. You know, heart is 40, lungs is even earlier. So again, for someone to have the energy, you need the adrenals, you know. So the adrenal cortex is important. So in our way of treating the patient, we look into the organs and target the organs, and then we do a regeneration. So if someone will ask me, I take one supplements, I can have all the thing, I don't need any injection. Because in the market, a lot of people will say, oh, you don't need injection. I give you the supplements, it's as good as the injection. It's not easy. Because most of the time when you take a supplements, it may not be less than 4% which will be absorbed. Sometimes it may not even be absorbed. So it's important to understand the fact. So again, even when you take injections or some other administration, it depends whether the body can take it or not, and are you giving the right stuff. If you give the right stuff, you may see some improvements. If you give the wrong stuff, it will never happen. You know. So there are a lot of things in the market. I would say that certain things work and most of the things may not work. So it's important to look for the right people, the clinicians, or the right people who can provide something which is really working. Because the market is filled with a lot of, it's like deep fake, you know? It's like a video you thought is the guy, but it's not. It's the same in the industry, especially in skincare or cosmetics or supplements. You know, people are trying to say this work for everything. If someone say these supplements will cure diabetes, will cure Alzheimer, will cure Parkinson, and cure everything, I would say there's nothing in the world, not even an injection or a supplements or oil or a liquid you drink, which can do for everything. Because all the cells in your body have different blueprints. You have 400 over different types of cells in your body from your 78 organs. And the situation is that every cell is just like all of us human beings, including twins. They have different blueprints. They have different fingerprint. They have different tongue print for human. So for the cells, they will have different molecules. They will have different amino acid sequences. And they will have different proteins. So none of the cells are of the same. So if someone say, I give you one stem cells or one type, let's say the mesenchymal cells, and they will turn into the eye, the brain, the heart, the liver, the kidney, if that guy can do it, he will win the Nobel Prize. Okay? And this moment, science is moving at a very fast rate. So is medicine, but even that, we still need time to move into that level. We have not moved into that level yet. You can't turn into any organs as you like. It wasn't as easy as we thought. There's a lot of things we have to understand. So in my way of assessment, together with my wife of 46 years, you know, and we spent 41 years, you know, and 30 over years in Germany and Switzerland. We work with all the top scientists of the world. We ourselves have been so immersed in all this. I come to realize there's never an A for everything. It has to be an A1 for A1 diseases, or B6 for B6, or Z10 for Z10. So if you want to treat Alzheimer, then you need the frontal lobe. You need to treat Parkinson, then you need the substantia nigra, apart from the other cells. Okay, you need to treat diabetes, then you need the islets of the Langerhans from the pancreas. So if someone say, I give you an eye cells, it will repair the kidney, impossible. If I give you if I need to treat the kidney, I must have the kidney cells. So as you all age, all of us, not just Puan Sri here, I age, I'm 64, or Tan Sri age, every one of us age. Even as a baby, the moment you're born, you start to age immediately. And you thought it's growing up fast. Actually, you're aging fast, you know? So you grow up fast, okay? So the aging process moves acutely down as you go further. So the way you age from 60 to 70, even from 65 to 68, I always say you age 3 years. Don't ever think you age 1 year. And we look at aging at the biological age of aging. That means your age of your organ. The average age of all your organ is important. And how do we test your biological age? Even by the blood test, we call it the protein test or the glycan test. I can test the age of your blood and that, or your cells. That already tell your biological age to a certain extent, okay? But this must all be scientifically proven. There's a body who do this in UK. Of course, we also have some other biological tests in US, Howard test or True test or True. I mean, there are many other brands, okay? I would say that, okay? So important to understand, check your biological age at all time. As you age, you must do a pathological test of yourself. So anyone who is past 60, I would say do a test every 6 months. Because your blood test or pathological test, or we call it lab work in US, is actually telling the condition of your health at that moment. So if someone were to come to us and say, oh, I've done a blood test 2 years ago, or I've done one year ago, or even 6 months ago, I will not look into that blood test because it's changing. Your body is changing every day. After 40, you lose 10,000 neurons a day. After 40, you're losing 1 to 2% of your hormones every year. After 40, your hippocampus, which is for your emotion and long-term memory and for your balancing, is losing 5% every decade. Can you imagine it's shrinking? So don't you realize as we age, our grandmother or our father or mother, they start to walk not straight. They tends to be floating.
Yeah.
That is balancing. The balancing is out. So as you know, as we age, we tend to fall then. And we are afraid of falling because we may injure our brain. So I always tell my mother is past 90. She loves shopping. She loves to wear on high heels. She will be with a lipstick all the time. She loves to pose. And I just finished shopping with her in Shenzhen for 2 weeks, you know. Around Christmas, we have a holiday with the family. She brought 80 kilos of products. Shoes, baju, all that, you know, clothing, all that. And everyone is telling her, why you still want to buy so much at your age, okay? But I was telling myself, Mom, just go along with what you want. She still watched Midnight Show with us after the shopping. Can you imagine? She loves shopping. So that means she still feels she's young. She wants to be beautiful. Please continue doing that. She had never been admitted to a hospital for that matters. So I come to realize it's important for us, all of us, to take very good care of yourself. The important thing is take good care of yourself before you can even take good care of your spouse, of your loved ones, or your children or your grandchildren. It's important in this sense. Just like you're in the plane, the first thing is they ask you to put on your belt first before you can do anything else, before you can take for your baby or whoever. So it's the same scenario here. Because if any one of us to be sick on a long-term wise, you know, as we age, it can be a burden. To take care of a sick person is more difficult than the sick person himself or herself. So we try to improve in that level. We try to delay the progression of disease. We also would say we can also kind of do a reversal of the biological age to prevent or to treat a disease to a certain extent, to control. She maintained herself. She can do boxing. She can climb Mount Kinabalu. She's still so active. I would say that is a good lifestyle, okay? Because if you were to sit down sedentary, you age faster. And again, if you are sitting down and you're not using something for your brain will deteriorate. So if someone were to tell me, I'm going to retire, you know, I'm 55 or I'm going to retire in 60, I don't need to work anymore, I would tell them you will age faster. All of us need 2 hours of critical thinking for the brain. The brain is like the heart, you need exercise. So when you're walking around, you do some some exercise. You don't have to be vigorous exercise. When you're at 60 or 70, you don't expect, I'm going to play squash, you know, I'm going to play this badminton to long hours, all that. No. Okay? As long as there's some form of movements, even by brisk walking is good enough.
And you gave me quite good recommendation with the...
Yes.
What was it?
Swimming is good.
Inflaplex? Was that the one?
Alpha-plex. Alpha-plex. You see?
Yeah,
Now again, you build up the fats.
Right?
You see? Yes. You see what happened as you age, you know, your metabolic rate decrease. And I already say you also lose your hormones. So what happened? Last time when you're young, you don't sleep for many days. You eat a lot, but you don't put on weight.
Yeah.
But as you age, after 40, when you exercise, even when you exercise, they may not build up the muscles.
Yeah.
You see, the myostatin
All
is
the
released.
visceral fats
Yes.
is showing.
Yeah, the visceral fat are the stubborn fat. Okay,
And
the
you have
hardened
something
fat.
for that for me, right?
Yes, we have something for that, and it works wonderfully well.
You got something.
and is the only one in the world. Is patented, and we do them in infusion form. We've been supplying to even military hospital in some countries,
Yeah.
and I supply to the cardiologists. I supply. Now, what is going there? We are removing the plaques or the fatty tissues deposits from your artery. You see, as you eat and you eat the excessive fats or glucose or whatever will turn into fats,
Yeah.
they will be going to the arteries, they'll be stored, and then they'll go to the heart. Then you will say, oh, you have cholesterol problem. They go to your liver, then you say you have fatty liver. Okay, can all this be eradicated to a certain extent? The answer is yes. Okay, you have to take this fat along, bind them, and remove them. This is one of the therapy that has been done in Switzerland or Germany for the last 70 years.
Right.
It wasn't invented by us, but the last few years, we do a lot of research, and we came out with a patented formula, and that they can bind the fat and go through your urine or they go to your stools.
So
I
I'm looking
myself
forward
take
to
7
that.
meals a day. I eat a lot. I will always be eating a lot, but I don't put on weight. My constant weight is always 65 to 66 kilo. And I maintain my biological age quite well. For the last 3 years, my biological age is 46. And this year I'm moving to 64. I'm happy in that, in the sense that as long as it's not higher than my chronological
So
age.
you're going to make me 30.
Now, I
Or
may not be able to make you
25,
30, but if I were to
Younger.
make you much younger, yes. Now,
Younger.
how young can you be? You can be as young as 6 to 16 years biologically through what we have been doing here, where we call it precision in the field of precursor stem cell therapy. We target each organ, which organ you have a problem, and we will do a replacement of certain stem cells, and we do a stimulation, and we do a regeneration. Because all the organs are coming down. Your eyes start to come down at 40. So you see a lot of fellows are saying, oh, I'm having an eye problem. My vision is not, I cannot drive at night. This is common. Okay. And then you also see that I don't have the stamina. So that means we also have to improve on the lungs and the heart, and the heart is coming down. Then again, you see the way they walk, wobbly. So it's something to do with the balancing again. So you need the hippocampus. Then again, the memory is coming down, losing memory. Then you need the frontal lobe. There's so many things you have to do at the end of the day. So if someone say, I give you one stem cell, you will repair all the organs, my answer is you will not work that way. Okay? You need the stimulation, you need the repair, you need the regenerations. So one of the accurate way is to look at the medical history of the patient and look at the last 3-month pathological blood test report. The blood test report already tell you about a lot of things. Your hormones, your condition of your liver, your heart, your kidney, everything is more or less shown there to a certain extent. So all we have to do is look and study carefully and move towards the anatomical side of the organs and go into that.
Very, very deep.
Yeah.
Very deep explanation to how I'm going to be 30 years younger.
Yeah. Now, I sincerely think if someone say I can make you 25 years or 30 years younger, it wasn't easy at all. But to make you younger by 6 to 16 years, that is logical. Okay, you see, everyone can say, I make you younger. Or you become younger after my therapy or after this therapy or after that therapy. But this is not what we want. We want some evidence. We want some scientific evidence. Scientific evidence means you must do a comparison of the pathological test 3 months later, from what you have done, okay, by comparing A to A, B to B, okay. That is a normal layman or doctor's way of comparing. But on our side, we also want to move further. We will check your protein age. We check your biological age. That is also important, okay. So it's important to prove with science. And at this moment, it's not just to say you look good. You look good, you must be proven scientifically that you really look good.